Hello, good evening. So today is a different topic altogether. So it's in my opinion, it's very interesting because the journey from milk all the way up to ghee is actually a very interesting journey. How the qualities and properties of the dravya or the substance changes, as it gets transformed from milk to curd to butter to ghee. It's very interesting. And once we go through, you'll understand, how the properties of each thing change. Okay, so so let's start slowly. Okay, so welcome to yet another session of Ask Me Anything weekly sessions. These sessions happen every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Okay, so today we are going to see how the journey. I love this thing. Even when I used to conduct classes for BAMS students, this is something which I make them understand how the property of each thing change. From milk, and by the time it reaches ghee, krita. It's interesting. So let's go through that. Okay. So a journey from milk to ghee. In between, you have got from milk. That milk gets converted into yogurt or curd, and then you churn it, and when you churn it, you get butter. Okay, once you take the butter out, what remains is buttermilk or takra, and then the butter or navanita is heated. And it's clarified. It's heated, and then after heat it breaks down, and then what you get is ghee. So a lot of things happen by the time milk reaches the state of ghee. So we'll go through it one by one. Before that, we will try to understand the properties of each thing. Milk, curd, buttermilk, butter, and ghee. We'll go through that pretty fast. Okay. So milk. So kshira to ghruta, from milk to all the way to and these are the things which happen from milk, curd, butter, buttermilk, and the last, the butter is actually heated, clarified, and then you get ghee. Okay. Now, what milk? The properties of milk. The taste of milk is actually sweet. It is madhura rasa. Okay, and its properties, it is snigdha. That means it is oily. It increases fat in the body. It is snigdha, it is guru, it is heavy. It is not extremely light to digest. It actually satiates your hunger. So it's slightly guru. Okay, it is shita, it is cold. The moment it goes inside the body, it cools the system. And the tridosha effect, it reduces vata and pitta, and it increases kapha. Okay, and if you look at the karma, it has got dhatu vardhaka. It builds the tissues. Like, if you look at a child after it is born, and then all the way up to 9 months, it is only on milk. Each and every tissue of the child actually grows, and each and every tissue which grows for child is only from milk. Okay, so milk has got that property where it can actually build the whole body. Okay, and then jeevaniyam, it is where it is life sustaining also. So this is about milk. This is just an outline. Okay, so when in milk, what you do is you add a little bit of curd or fermented, and then it gets completely converted into curd or yogurt. So that is called dadhi. So what is the taste of dadhi? Dadhi is amla, in the sense it is sour. So if the taste of dadhi or curd is not sour, that means it has not been properly formed. And then the properties, it is guru, it is heavy, that it becomes thick, and there's also a part of water in it. It's called mastu or whey. Okay, so the watery part gets removed, and then what is solid is basically called the dadhi. You can remove the whey part of it, the dadhi mastu, we call that. And so it is heavy and it is ushna, it is heating because fermentation has happened, it is acidic, lactobacillus has happened, and then that's why Acharya says, that it is ushna. While milk is cold because of fermentation, curd becomes ushna. And tridosha, it reduces vata, it increases pitta and kapha. Because it is acidic, it increases pitta, and because it is guru, it increases kapha. Okay. And karma, it's action. It basically, it increases medas, or you put on weight. It provides strength, and over usage of curd will actually lead to swelling of the body actually, you'll feel shopha, it is called. So from Dadhi, what happens? Then you churn the curd and then you get takra or buttermilk. The properties of buttermilk, it becomes, so when takra, what happens? When you churn it, you remove the butter. When you remove the butter, what happens? What remains is buttermilk. Let's see the properties of it. Okay, the taste of buttermilk is amla. It is still sour, which even the curd was. Okay, because of because you have churned it so much, you actually start getting a little bit of astringent taste into it. It is kashaya rasa also. And properties, it is legu, it is light. Curd was heavy, you have removed the butter, what remains is light. Okay, curd was hot, this is also ushna. Many people have got the feeling that buttermilk is cooling. No, buttermilk is also ushna, it is also hot. Okay, tridosha effect, it reduces kapha. Okay, and it also reduces vata. It increases pitta slightly. Now, karma, what action does it have? It's got a deepana karma. That means it's a very good appetizer. Okay, mastu, as I said before, when the curd sets, you get water floating on top. Okay, that water is basically called mastu, and that has got the same properties of buttermilk also. Now, navanita. Navanita is butter. The word navanita, nita means extracted, nava means fresh. So butter is something which has to be consumed always fresh. Nowadays you get everything frozen, but navanita is basically something, or butter is something which has to be consumed fresh. Its taste, it is sweet in taste. It also goes, it has also got astringent taste. Okay, slight acid, because when you churn the buttermilk, when the curd, it gets converted into buttermilk, and buttermilk has got that astringent taste. And that when you get that buttermilk slightly sticking onto the butter, it also carries the taste of buttermilk. Okay, so it's also kashaya rasa. And guna, it is actually, it is heavy. Okay, butter is heavy and butter is cold. Now, tridosha effect, it controls vata, it controls pitta also. It increases kapha. Now, karma, okay, it gives you a lot of complexion. External application, and if you consume also, it improves your complexion. Then it gives you a lot of strength, and it is grahi. Grahi in the sense, sometimes it can also constipate. Okay, butter. Now, grita or ghee. Its taste. Ghee is something, why do we, so the thing is that navanita or butter is something which is freshly taken. Navanita, it has to be consumed fresh. But when there's a stage where you cannot consume it fresh, you convert it into ghee so that you can preserve it. Ghee doesn't have an expiry date. Okay, ghee can actually be preserved for long. So you convert the butter into ghee and preserve it. So when you convert butter into ghee, what happens? This tasty, it is sweet. This also remains state. But when you heat it, the guna butter, which was guru or heavy, makes when it's heated, the ghee becomes light. It is shita. It is cold. Tridosha, it controls vata and pitta, and in karma, it increases. It is deepana. It actually is a very good appetizer. It increases your intellect. So people, that's the reason why kids are always given ghee. Okay, and it is vayasthapana. It delays aging. There are a lot of things which can be told about ghee. So I just told the three major things about ghee. Okay, now when you compare, now you see, when you look at the properties of milk all the way up to ghee, okay, this is very interesting for you. Okay, so look at this. Milk is heavy, it is guru, it is shita and madhura. It is heavy, cold and sweet. What happens? It is fermented and it sets. When it's set, there is some water on top. That water is light. The thing that is set is heavy. Okay, and because fermentation has happened, curd becomes hot. Okay, and fermentation happens, it becomes sour. So the sweet taste becomes sour, the cold becomes hot, heavy remains heavy. Now, okay, now you churn that curd. When you churn the curd, what happens? And you remove the butter, the heavy part, the fat part of the butter is of the curd is removed. So what remains is light. But curd is hot. Buttermilk also is hot. It is not cold. Many people think it is cold, but it is hot, and it is sour and also astringent taste because of the churning. There is a slight change in taste and becomes astringent. Okay, now what has been removed from that is butter. The heavy part of the curd has been removed, right? That's the reason why butter is heavy. Okay, but the heat has not been removed. What has been removed is cold, and it is sweet in taste. Understood, right? What happens from curd when you take butter out? Same butter, when you heat it, okay, when you heat something, it is easily digestible. It actually becomes lighter. So butter is heated to be converted into ghee. So the heavy butter becomes light. Okay, it still remains cold and sweet. Okay, now when you look at ghee, which came all the way from milk, okay, the heavy milk actually became light. It's still cold and it is sweet. Okay, and ghee, it has got a lot of applications in different parts. You may start asking your questions if you have got some. Okay, it has got a huge application. As I said, ghee is something, it's a way in which you can preserve. The properties of milk and ghee are pretty similar. Okay, ghee is something which you can preserve for long. One thing, what I say is ghee, when it is 1 year old, it is called Purana Ghirta. Okay, it can be 1 year old, you can use it for a year, it's called Purana Ghirta. But when it is 10 years old, it is called Prapurana Ghirta, it is very old. 100-year-old ghee also can be used, it is called Kumbha Sarpi. Okay, what you mean by Kumbha Sarpi is, that means it has been kept in a vessel for 100 years. It's not edible, but that is actually used to make medicines for mental disorders. It works very good for all mental disorders. So ghee in that way is very good. People who want intellect should actually take ghee up in their food on a daily basis. Okay, so yeah, Kim. Yes, butter. It is because it is cold, and it is heavy. It is definite. Oh, sorry, I'll just put that question there. Yes, Kim. Butter it is cold and it does not digest very fast because it is heavy. So there is always a chance for people who have got constipation. There's always a chance of it actually increasing the constipation. Yes. Okay, so butter, you can have butter, but it's always good. If it is fresh, it is fine. But if it is old, it doesn't taste good. It's always good that if you can convert it into ghee, it is good. Okay, and if you look at ghee, one good thing about ghee is if you look at the medicinal part of ghee. This I had explained it last time also, that samskarasya anuvartana, that it can actually take the properties of all the medicines you add into it. The difference between any other oil and ghee, both are fats, but if you look at the difference between oil and ghee, okay, what happens is when you add a medicine or a herb into ghee and medicate it, the property of Ghee being light, cold, sweet, okay, and good for the brain, and all those things will still be there. Plus, it will also take in the properties of the herbs which you have added into it. So you cannot completely change the properties of ghee. Ghee holds its own properties, plus it will also take in the properties of all the herbs you have added into it. But oil is not like that. If you add some oil, some herbs into an oil and infuse the oil, you can change the property of the oil. Ghee you cannot change. It will only take in the properties of the herbs you have added into it. Takra, see, the good advantage with takra is because even though it is kashaya rasa, it is laghu and it is sukshma. Okay, it is extremely digestive. So it is not something which can cause too much of constipation, Kim. And takra is pathya. Pathya in the sense it is the best drink for a person who has got piles. Okay, so anybody who's got most of digestive issues, who find it very difficult to digest, buttermilk is deepana, it increases digestive. So if you are giving some powders like might be dry ginger powder or pepper powder or some ready-made preparations like ashtachurna, you can actually mix it with buttermilk and give rather than giving it with plain water. Okay, so takra actually works really well in that way also, and takra is not that constipating when compared to what do you call butter. Butter is grahi, but takra is not constipating at all. Okay, because for a grahani in the sense, if you have got problems where you pass IBS sort of thing, it is good. It holds it, but it does not constipate too much. For piles and lot of issues for that with your digestion, you can actually use takra as anupana. Let me answer this first. Yes, hemorrhoids. Yes, Kim, when I meant piles, I meant hemorrhoids. Okay, it is very good. Now, Suma, which is good? Daily a teaspoon of butter or ghee for the kids? Suma, if you are actually making that butter at home, then I don't mind you giving butter. Butter is very good. I don't mind you giving that butter because it is navanita, that which has been extracted fresh. That is the Sanskrit word for butter, navanita. Nava means new, nita means extracted. So that has been freshly extracted is navanita. If you churn curd at home and take butter out of it, you can give butter to your kid, absolutely no issues. But the packed butter, salted butter, and all those things which you get in the market, I am not very sure about it. But ghee, yes, ghee also is good for the child, absolutely no issues. Okay, but this is the thing, if it is fresh, you can give butter also. Good evening, Amarat, Ramesh. Hope you are doing good. Good for IBS. Yes, I don't want to directly say IBS. In Ayurveda, there is a condition called grahani. Okay, grahani actually means graha means to hold. Okay, so when the food what you eat is not being held properly, that means even before it is completely digested, or you eat some other thing and you feel that this you pass motions. So when it is not holding, that's the reason we sometimes compare grahani to the symptoms of IBS. So for grahani roga, or you may also say IBS, buttermilk is actually very good. But the properties of buttermilk, if you look at the curd, if the curd is not properly set, if the curd doesn't become sour, then the buttermilk you get from that also will not become sour and astringent. Then it does not have that much of an effect on hemorrhoids or IBS. So the property of buttermilk also is very important. Okay, how you have made that buttermilk. Ah, great, Ramesh. Yeah, yeah. And I think a lot of your issues have settled because of that. What happens with ghee is, okay, I'll tell you very clearly. When you take that kind of ghee, it's not for, I don't say it's not for all, but if you look at Ashtanga Hridaya, when he says about food, he says food has to be snigdha. In the sense, the food which you eat cannot be dry. You cannot eat dry fruit. Okay, like bread or roti or something, rice, just it has to be snigdha. That means you can either add a little bit of liquids into it or a little bit of ghee or something. It cannot be ruksha or dry. So what happens is your gut also after a point of time starts getting dry. And opposite of dry is not wet. English language, yes, but if you look at from the Ayurvedic point of view, opposite of dry is oily. Okay, so a person who is constipated, if you just because he drinks too much of water, initially he might, because the peristalsis happen, he'll feel okay, but otherwise drinking water is not a direct solution for constipation. You see that he actually consumes a little bit of some oil on a regular basis. I would say ghee would be the best thing on a regular basis. After the point of time, you'll see that his digestion improves, his skin will improve, and he'll also start passing motions without too much of difficulty. Okay. Good evening, Marcia. Yes, Ramesh, I'm happy to note that. Okay. Grahani is, it can be, it can be loose motions too often. It can be constipation and loose motions, on and off. And that is normally what happens mostly with IBS people also, that it's sometimes unpredictable. So takra or buttermilk really works well with this. And other medicines like dadima ashtaka churnam or ashtachurnam or hingujadi churnam, whatever churnam or anything you give, it is always good that you mix with buttermilk and give for better results. And as I said, the buttermilk that you prepare also should be prepared in the right way. You can't, many a times what happens is people actually prefer sweet curd. And Ayurveda, that is called ama dadhi. Ama dadhi means not properly prepared curd. That means it has left the milk stage, but it has not reached the proper curd stage. They say, I take fresh curd, which is just set it with a sweetened taste. But the property, if you look at dadhi, it is amla. That means it has to be sour. If it is sour only, you churn, then only you will start getting the butter. Otherwise, it's very difficult to get butter also. So the process also has to be right. Okay. Anusha, what is a good time to consume milk? Can adults take it? Nowadays, many say to avoid dairy. What's my take? Milk for kids, they can have it anytime, especially, growing kids. But one thing you should see that you see if your child is actually catching a cold or not. If the child has got a tendency to catch cold, see that you avoid milk after sunset. Or you can dilute the milk a little bit and give. Okay. Adults can also have milk. Adults, it's always good to have milk at bedtime for adults, because having that one glass of cow's milk will actually help them sleep better. That means it does not induce sleep per se, but if you are somebody who sleeps good, you will stay sleeping because of the cow's milk. But if you have got difficulty in sleeping, then it's not cow's milk. Ashtanga Hridaya says that you have to take buffalo's milk for anidra or no sleep. Okay, but I don't know. I would not say that you have to avoid dairy, but you should be sure about the source of milk you get. If whether the cow is being reared properly or it is being, injected with antibiotics and all that, then the milk actually becomes bad. Otherwise, in my opinion, milk is good. Does daily consumption of ghee create high cholesterol? Okay, Kim, ghee can raise your cholesterol levels a little bit, But if you look at the studies which has happened on ghee, they say that if you take ghee and if you are somebody who's slightly active, ghee will actually pull down the cholesterol because fat can remove fat. Okay, so it is not that you only take ghee and not do anything. But if you're somebody who takes ghee, I would say, I see for people who want to lose weight. Let me tell this very clearly. If you want to lose weight, don't cut down on the amount of food and the quality of food you eat. You'll be denourished. I want you to probably you can reduce the amount of food, but I want you to eat good food. Again, siddhahar. That means you can add a little bit of ghee, all those things. So you are having that nutrition going inside, but you have to actually do a little bit of exercise. Calorie output has to go up. So your calorie input, calorie output has to be more than a calorie input. Don't starve or fast to lose weight. You exercise to lose weight. Eat good food and you burn it. When you burn it, this whole ghee, actually, whatever, as Kim was asking, when you take that ghee actually goes into every cell and it starts coming out of your skin when you sweat. When you sweat, you see that oily thing, right? And when you have actually, and even if your skin is dry, there is no point in applying anything from outside. Very little effect. You'll feel good. It's temporary. The lubrication has to come from inside. For that, you have to start doing exercise. You have to burn those fat and it has to come out as sebum from your skin. Your skin will feel much, much better. Okay, so Kim, you can have ghee in moderation and don't feel worried about cholesterol as long as you're also doing exercise moderately. Yeah, Samriddhi, I understand that you might not be able to get pure milk. It is adulterated. Yes, just like, I don't want to compare, but still, I'm forced to compare. You are not probably getting fresh vegetables also. Most of the vegetables have got pesticides and all those things. But still, you go and hunt for organic veggies, right? Likewise, if you actually go, you will get fresh milk. We here, we have got somebody who supplies good milk for us because we went hunting for it. So if you go for it, you'll get, just like you can go and get organic food, you can also get good milk. Normal milk might not be good, but still you can get. Anusha, milk heavy, how it gets digested if you consume before sleeping? Okay. So Ayurveda, I'll talk from the Ayurvedic point of view. Ayurveda does not say that your food has to be completely digested before you go to bed. Okay. Note this point. I'll tell you what. So suppose you have food at about 6 o'clock in the evening and you go to bed at about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. You'll notice that about 8:30, your food is digested and gone. You're still awake, so your metabolism again sets in. Okay. By about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you'd feel like eating something. That is actually not good. So what I always say is you have your early dinner, you sleep early when the process of digestion is still happening. So what happens the moment you go to bed, your metabolism slows down, and whatever little bit of food that has to still be digested, it will still get digested. It will take that whole night for it to get digested. Okay, and when that means I can say in my life, so that means your kapha is slightly high. Okay, and you get good sleep because you have got food in your tummy. Same thing happens in milk also. Milk is slightly on the heavier side. See, if you compare cow's milk and buffalo's milk is heavier than cow's milk. Okay, goat's milk is lighter than cow's milk. Breast milk is even lighter than, you have got those comparisons. So if you drink that milk at night and go to bed, milk is there and you're sleeping. So that little bit of metabolism which will keep on working throughout the night for your milk to digest will actually keep you sleeping. Jayashri, 1 cup of homemade curd after lunch is good or buttermilk? If you look at Nitya Sevi, what you are supposed to take daily or what you're not supposed to take daily, curd is something which you are not supposed to consume on a daily basis. Okay, buttermilk you can have. Curd, see, it's summers, yes, you can have a little bit here and there, but I would say buttermilk is something which actually helps you digest faster. So if given a choice between buttermilk and curd, I would say you can actually go for buttermilk. Okay, and if you're looking at from the probiotic point of view, buttermilk and curd, absolutely no difference. It's got all the things which curd has also got. You just churn and you're taking the butter out of it, right? What remains has got everything, and it is light. It is also ushna. It helps digest. Samriddhi, I understand this. That's what most people do. Uh, but see, butter can also, ghee can also be made from the cream of milk. Yes, but storing and for a few days and then heating it, probably chemically, when people talk, they compare and say, when, because it has been put in the refrigerator, it is frozen, there might be no changes, it is still healthy. But when I look from the Ayurvedic point of view, when you keep on, it's like, you prepare food, you put it inside the fridge and you heat it the next day and you keep it in the fridge for 3 days, you again heat it and have. It's the same way, because if you have to get that cream, you have to cook the milk, you have to boil the milk. The milk is boiled, and then that boiled milk, a part of that boiled milk, there is a cream, is kept in the refrigerator for a few days. You will definitely get ghee out of it, but I don't want to comment too much on that. But if you can make it fresh from the butter, that would be better. Somebody, you can have the milk and go to bed within 5-10 minutes. Absolutely no issues. You can have an early dinner, and before you go to bed, you have that milk, brush your teeth, and you can go to bed. You don't have to wait for an hour. Okay, need not. Okay, it is not very. See, the one reason why Ayurveda considers milk as a superfood is, it is one thing. Very rarely you'll find something else which can actually pacify your thirst and hunger at the same time. Okay, if you're thirsty, you drink milk, you're thirsty. Yeah, you feel good. If you're hungry, you drink milk, then also you feel good. That is why, kids, babies, when they're hungry, milk. Thirsty, milk. Emotionally down, milk. Anything, milk. Milk, milk, milk. That's why milk is considered to be superfood. Okay. Yes, curd is yogurt. I understand, Kim. In the US, you call it yogurt. Okay. And of late, you see that yogurt has been told to be consumed on a daily basis. It is very good superfood, which never used to be in the US, say about 10, 15, 20 years back. And I say personally that they haven't reached to buttermilk yet. And after a point of time, they will reach there and say, yes, probably buttermilk is a better option than yogurt, because yogurt or curd has got a lot of restrictions as far as Ayurveda goes. Okay. Samarthi, yeah, you add water into curd, beat it really well, and have it as buttermilk. It is just diluted curd. It is not buttermilk. Okay, so it probably would be better than having the thick curd, but I don't want you to consider that as buttermilk. People say majjika. No, that is not majjika. That is just diluted curd. You've added water into it. The butter has not been removed. Anisha, yeah, see, you can do it. You're again coming back to the same thing, and see, normally what happens is, if you are planning to actually make ghee, I would say you get a little bit more milk. Okay, you curdle it, you make curd, and then you churn it, you get the butter. Butter can actually be kept, as somebody was asking, I forgot to answer that. Should it be had only fresh, or can I keep it for a day? Normally what we do is we take butter and we put it in water. Okay, butter actually floats on water. I don't know how many of you have seen that. So butter, we take butter and we put it in water so that the external temperature doesn't have an effect on butter. Water is cold, it stays in water, so it stays cool. It stays cool for a few hours, and then once all the butter has been removed, then we make ghee. Okay, we don't store butter for a longer period of time, Anusha. Okay. Samriddhi, making ghee is, if you know how to reach all the way up to butter, then just heating butter is basically ghee. As simple as that, So you milk is there, you add a little bit of yogurt into it, the whole thing sets. You wait for some time, it turns sour. Probably it doesn't happen within 12 hours. Summers and all, probably in 24 hours time, probably it start becoming sour. So you churn it, butter will come up, you heat that butter. Okay, there's sometimes we wash that butter also. When you wash that butter, that astringent taste is gone from the butter. That's why we leave it in water. Then you heat that butter. The moment you heat it in low flame, you can see it get formed into ghee. That's all. Yes, Kim, by consuming cold yogurt, first thing, consuming cold itself is not very good. When your digestion is happening, don't take anything cold. And yogurt is also heavy. Something which is cold and heavy is not easy to digest. So that's the reason it's always good for you to go for room temperature buttermilk. Room temperature buttermilk is actually, its property is that it is slightly heaty, so, and it is light. And it's got all the things which you say, all the bacteria, good bacteria which you say, which is there in the yogurt, is also there in buttermilk. Yeah, probably we can retrain them, Kim. Even in mild winters, my hands and feet become very cold. I think Samriddhi, I'm guessing that you might be somebody who is probably slightly on the leaner side, and that is one reason. Probably your hands, your feet, your ears, the tip of the nose, and all those things might got a tendency to get cold pretty fast. Okay, so I would say it's better for you to actually cover it. I got it. Yes, Samriddhi, you are on the leaner side. I could make out by the way you said that. You are more towards the Vata Prakriti. That's the reason. Even slight dip in temperature, your hands become cold. Okay, so I would say you can't change it, Samriddhi. That is your nature, and you'll probably you have been born with that. You are living only with that, and you'll probably die with that. Okay, I'm sorry about that. You can, if that is not creating any health issues, I think you'll have to just work around it. If you feel it's cold, you can wear a gloves, you can wear a socks, and you can work around it. Okay, and probably you can sip something warm. You can take water which is boiled with dry ginger, quarter teaspoon of dry ginger to 1 liter of maybe 2 liters of water. You can drink that. That will actually slightly increase the temperature of your body, and you'll feel better. But that's your nature. Okay. Anita, which Abhyanga oil is best for a Pitta Vata Prakriti person? Okay, for a Pitta Vata Prakriti person, you can use Kshirabala Taila. Okay, or if you have got pain also, then you can also use Pinda Taila. But otherwise, generally, you can use, most, you can use Dhanvantaram Tailam, you can use Kshirabala Tailam. These two Tailams you can use. If you've got pain, probably you can go for Pinda Taila. But otherwise, Kshirabala Taila or Dhanvantaram Tailam would be a good choice for you, Anita. Okay. Yes, Samriddhi, on the leaner side. I have them mix the cold yogurt with water 50-50, mix in dice. If it works for you, it's okay. Kim, I don't want to probably this is a preparation which you have made it for yourself, and if it works for you and if you're used to it, I don't want to interfere. It is okay. Okay, because hard and fast rules are not there in Ayurveda. You can't say no. It's not extremely black and white. It's not a straight line. It's a band. So trying to understand the properties of something and then trying to incorporate. Here, what you say is you have diluted yogurt. It has not become buttermilk at all. Okay, and see if it is sour in taste. Okay, if it is sour in taste and if it becomes astringent only, then it becomes a deepana pachana. Otherwise, it doesn't become. Okay, so just because you have and you if you add some spices into it, then you can tweak it a little bit. That's all I would say. You just leave it outside. If you can add something like dry ginger or a little bit of pepper into it, okay, then you can tweak it a little bit and make it more digestive. Okay, if it suits you, Kim, go ahead. Samruddhi, offline appointment as effective as online appointment as Nadi Pariksha is impossible online. I understand Nadi Pariksha is impossible online. Yes. But, I'm not trying to justify online consultations, but one thing I can tell you is that there's something called Ashtasthana Pariksha. Okay, Samruddhi, just listen to this. Ashtasthana Pariksha. Nadi Mutram Nadi Mutram Malam Jihva Drik Sparsha Shabda Akriti. 8. Okay. Nadi is your pulse, Mutram is your urine. Okay. Malam is your motions. Okay. Jihva is your tongue. Drik is your eyes. Sparsha is your touch. Shabda is your voice. Akriti is your shape. Okay. So of all these 8 after Sthana Pariksha is there for one thing, and then you have also called Dashaveda Pariksha. Dushyam, Desham, Balam, Kalam, Analam, Prakriti. That's a different thing altogether. Okay. So when you look at all these things put together, Nadi is only one part of it. For kind information, Samruddhi. Okay. Nadi is only one part of it. So just because I've seen a lot of physicians in Kerala. The moment a patient comes, they don't check the Nadi. And they don't check the Nadi if not necessary at all. It is, they have got 3 ways: darshanam, sparshanam, prashanam. You look at a patient, sparshana, you can touch the nadi, you can, whatever it is. Prashna, you can do a talk. Okay. So when you do that, the importance of nadi is not very high, Samruddhi. Okay. I'm not telling nadi is not good at all or not is not very important, but I'm telling you the importance of nadi, the way people talk about, no. It is just one among the many ways in which you can diagnose. So online consultation, yes, the difference is that we'll have to spend probably about half an hour or 20 minutes or more, half an hour with a patient to understand what the problem is by conversing. And it is, I would say it is equally good. Should Dhanvantaram Thailam always contain milk? I bought from some. Yes, if it has been prepared with the yoga which the text says, then yes. I don't want to comment on the other one from a reputed supplier here, and the recipe does not contain milk. Probably they would not have written the milk in that. It might contain, but otherwise, yes. School I went to call the watered down yogurt takra. No, you mean the diluted curd is basically yogurt is called diluted curd. Okay, it cannot be takra. Takra is something which, because takra is something which is where the butter has been removed. I'll tell you why. There is one other thing which has been mentioned about Tatwan mastu. Tatwat mastu. Mastu is the way. That means when the yogurt sets, okay, what happens is you'll see a clear a whitish water on top. Okay, you drain that water out. That is called whey. I think that is what modern people call whey. In Sanskrit, it's called mastu. And the property of mastu and takra is almost the same. So it has to be light. You can't just, so it's got nothing to do with the yogurt. The water which comes from which is not a part of the yogurt, is actually mastu or whey, and the property of that is similar to buttermilk. So diluting curd or yogurt, I don't think you can make takra out of it. Bhanu Pratap. Can I take Brahmarasayana at night? First of all, if you are taking Bhanu, if Bhanu Prakash, if you are taking Brahmarasayana following a doctor's prescription and he's asked you to take at night, well and good. And if he's asked you to take milk over it, well and good. Brahmarasayana can be taken in the morning. Okay, it can be taken in the night also. It can be taken in the afternoon also. So it actually gives you different results when you take it in different times. Okay, so if you are taking it if prescribed by a doctor that you have to take it at night with milk, go ahead, no problem. But see that the milk which you drink after Brahmarasayana is slightly warm. Okay, not very hot and not cold. You warm it and have it. Okay. So any other question? No, it's got, see, Bhanu Pratap, I don't want to get into a consultation right now. It's got a lot of effects when it is taken at night. One thing I can tell you is, okay, one straight thing. If you have got any issues above the clavicle, okay, Nishi, so Urdhva Jatruvikare Nishi, if you've got any issues above the clavicle, see, neck, head, nose, eyes, all those things, any medicine which you take at bedtime works really well. Brahmarasayana works really well. Okay, so this is one thing which I said. Okay, but there are other things also. Probably try to get to the doctor who prescribed it for you, and then he'll be able to help. You should have asked him. But you can have it in the morning. You can have it at the night also. It's got different functions. Okay, simple. You're having the day and you're awake. You are having the night and you're going to bed. Definitely the result is going to be different, right? Okay, so shall we end it? So next week we'll come up with some other topic. So till then, yep, thanks Kim. A good day to you because you are in the US. Okay, thank you. Good night to all. Thank you.